Good evening and welcome to Talk of the Nation. I'm your host, Jeff Ramon, and our topic today is the current state of the economy. Tonight, our panel of experts will help us sort out the facts concerning the challenging state of the nation today. With us in the studio tonight are Bill Bennett, a contributor to Fox News and RedState.com, and author of the new book, How Liberals Are Ruining America. We also have Keith Jenkins, an MSNBC.com political analyst and columnist for the Huffington Post. He has written his own bestseller, Corporate Nation, How Multinational Corporations Are Ruining America and the World. Last but not least is Peter O'Toole, a restaurant owner who has run this business for over 30 years in St. Petersburg, Florida, and may have to close it this year. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Peter, let's start with you. You say that you haven't seen a lot of improvement as a business owner, and your previously thriving restaurant may now have to close.
That's right. I just haven't seen any improvements on my end. I've owned a little pizza place by St. Pete Beach for over 30 years. I've been blessed to see my hard work pay off all these years, and my restaurant has been the local watering hole for at least 2 generations of people. However, since 2008, folks just haven't been or coming down here for vacation as much or eating as much. Those 2 things have spelled disaster for my business.
Peter, I'm very sorry to hear that. However, facts show that the economy is recovering not as quickly as we hoped. There have been some improvements, though. In the U.S. Department of Labor, the employment is down from last year, and experts say that the recession is really now over.
Keith, that is so typical of liberals to eschew the facts and downplay the suffering of small businesses and real Americans. Unemployment is still at an unacceptable level. Nationally, it's around 9.8%, but it's even higher than that in the area of Florida where this man lives in Tampa Bay, where it's about 12%, and Tampa residents hang out on the beaches in St. Pete. Furthermore, the private sector is not hiring at a healthy rate, and most jobs created by the stimulus are temporary infrastructure jobs or government work that will not grow the economy. They only provided temporary relief, and the census only provided temporary work created by the government with our tax dollars. The figures you alluded to simply reflected the false recovery from several months ago, and now that's wearing off.
Bill, your reasons are so distorted and off base, it's scary. Those infrastructure jobs and concessions jobs put Americans back to work. The employment rate is at 9.8, but it's down from 10% last year. It's really simple. When you put money back into the pockets of consumers, they pay mortgages and bills, and their spending goes back up. The working class and middle class will get back to work, and at the end bill, the businesses will win out because the people will spend money again and on things like vacations and restaurants, and the average American gets relief from that, and it evens out the playing field. The facts that you quoted back, by the way, prove my point. Yes, there are some areas that are bad, but employment rate in St. Petersburg is at 8.6. That's well below the national rate of employment, and that area is improving. Now, I admit that the process has not happened quickly enough, but it will work. It has worked historically, as is proven for FDR during the Great Depression. And this president inherited a horrible economy, and its administration is doing the best to improve it, even after the Republican opposition. Lastly, the unemployment rate is a lagging indicator that means that, which is a means that affects the effect of a recession and after one has already started, which means the employment will continue even after the economy started to recover. You might know that if you went to journalism school in Columbia with me.
Keith, your elitism aside, this administration has applied your theory and has failed miserably. We have had almost 2 years of Obama's fiscal policy, and we are not improving, but our national debt has gone up. Furthermore, Presidents Coolidge and Reagan got us out of recessions much quicker by cutting taxes, and the economy was in an abysmal state under Carter. By the way, according to the real experts, 4.5 to 7% is a normal unemployment rate, and neither of those cities or our country has that now.
Bill, I've lived through your 80s under your Saint Ronald, as you guys regard Reagan and his Reaganomics, and that didn't work as well as you guys on the right assert.
Keith, with all due respect, sir, that shows that you were either grossly ignorant to the economic history or just plain lying. Ask any economist or small business owner, and they will praise Reagan or be forced to concede to the fact that he had a lot of good policies, even if they are not conservative. Read any real economist, and they will have a lot of respect for Reagan, to say the absolute least. I can't believe you come up on the show, defend the cancerous administration, and attack the greatest president in history, Ronald Reagan.
Oh, I guess the real only progress that we've made tonight, Bill, is that you guys are still not praising George W. Bush, a man who single-handedly sank this economy and took our nation to war under false reasons.
No, I guess we haven't made real progress because you pinheads on the left are still talking about Bush instead of owning up to your own administration's poor performance.
Okay, Bill, you do have to admit that Obama did inherit a two-front war and the worst recession in history next to the Great Depression.
Yes, Jeff, I know that, but Obama has probably made it worse, and at the very least has not made any real improvements and has spent this country into debt. Furthermore, I think this comment of yours that you guys keep in the media will keep sympathizing with this idiot until you sink this country, and I think it's very rude for you all to gang up on me on air like this.
Bill, I did not mean to gang up on you, but we have to represent both sides.
Oh, please. You guys in the media are all commie pinheads, and I know it, and you know it. I've read that glorified blog you've stated on or that you have on theexaminer.com, if you can even call it that, and I can tell you're a liberal hippie.
Bill, I will not have you turn a civil debate into a personal attack on me. Okay? And if one of my pieces from the Examiner could even be considered conservative, okay?
And boring. And irrelevant, by the way.
No, if I could cut in, I just want to know what the government can do for an honest, hardworking guy like me that could use a lot of help. That's all.
Nothing. Just vote to keep them out of your life. Just do that.
Oh, please. The government is making sure that the food we eat at this guy's restaurant isn't contaminated.
Sir, like Pizza has only the highest cleanliness standards, and we have for 30 years since my father opened the business.
See, now he wants to attack the hardworking, real Americans and advance his discredited socialist agenda.
Well, have you tried his pizza? Maybe it's terrible. Maybe people are just eating it because they're at the beach.
Yeah, hey, I'm eating this guy's pizza, sir. And I will eat this man's pizza just to prove how full of it you guys really are. I bet it's the best out there. And he just can't pay all of his taxes to the big government that's controlling this nation.
We only have a few more minutes left, and Keith, let's give you a chance to respond before we head out.
While it's disappointing that this economy has not recovered as fast as we like with the strength that we like, the policies of this administration is working to cure the grave damage done to America by George Bush, the banks, and the real estate business. And hopefully we can work together in Washington for the good of this nation.
My question is, why are you attacking George Bush? Why do you have to attack Bush, the real estate companies, the banks? Why is this?
Didn't we just bail out the banks not too long ago?
And that was our only option at the time. Would you have rather seen this country go completely bankrupt? Yeah. Worse off than it already is?
I think I need a bailout.
You need a bailout.
He needs a bailout.
What happened to that stimulus that we had not too long ago from George Bush?
Look, here's the
problem. That is a good point, Keith. Bush did agree to some stimulus under the bailout.
Yes, and I agree that it wasn't the best decision, in my opinion. But it was the only option at the time that was foreseeable. Now, for him to continually attack that, you just said, you know that was the only option, and yet you're still attacking it. And you're attacking this guy's poor business. Have you been to his business? Have you eaten his pizza?
Have you etten his pizza?
Sure, why not?
It's good.
Okay,
It's good pizza. He says it's good pizza.
Really?
Gentlemen, I think that's a bit of an asinine point, I would have to say. Now, there was, under Bush, Iraq, so we also have to give that complexity into it, too,
and
as well.
You always point to Iraq. All you hippies, this little San Francisco hippie driving, oh, look at my
I'm from
Prius
Tampa
car.
Bay, in North Tampa, by the way, sir.
You always attack Iraq war. You always attack the Bush administration.
How much money are we spending in this war?
It's enough to go ahead and bolster our economy up. Every time we've gone into
he does have a point. Some economists do argue that it was actually World War II and the spending on defense that actually helped our economy.
And it always happens like that.
Okay, we have to end it right there tonight. We appreciate both of your perspectives, gentlemen. That's all the time we have tonight, though. Join us again tomorrow night for more of the most important issues of the day here on Talk of the Nation. This is Jeff Ramon. Also, don't forget to check out my videos and my Glorify blog on www.jefframon.com. Thanks, and join us tomorrow.